at the very beginning. I was looking at reports, and I happened to look at a report on new faculty hires. And there were no African American, no Hispanic American faculty on the list, a couple of Asians, and the rest were all Caucasians. I was astounded. I sat down with the deans and said, hey, this is the story. 0 out of 100. That's unacceptable. And they said, no, we're with you, we agree with you, but we need help. So I went to Human Resources and I said, look, I want a director of faculty recruitment focusing on people with minority backgrounds. So that's going to be a tough job. Would you like that job? The first 4 or 5 people, they were terrified. I mean, they looked at me, they blinked. So I went through this thing and said, well, it's going to be a long process here. Renee Baker comes in. She looks, I go through my whole speech. She looks at me, sits back in the chair and laughs at me. She laughs her head. You're the funniest thing I ever heard. Of course I can do all that. That sounds like a ball. I hired her on the spot.
Right from the start, the motivation to create the Future Faculty Exploration Program was centered on addressing a fundamental question, which was, how do we find good people of color? Because we don't know how.
What it was going to give us was a structure for increasing the pipeline, for getting the reputation of RIT out into the community in the country with respect to our interest in diversity and our willingness to embrace diversity.
Renee had begun participating in something called the Compact for Faculty Diversity. And it attracted hundreds of minority graduate students, doctoral students, postdocs. While all the other schools, we were all lined up in this hallway, we're sitting behind their tables, Renee is out there working the crowd. You know, any kid who happened to drift by and might look in the direction of RIT, she's out there and she's nailed them. Come on in.
It was amazing how all the recruiters in the area where we were situated would come over and ask us, what are we doing? Why are there always so many people at your table? And what are you giving out, gold? You know? And so what it was is that they did not understand what it was about in terms of getting up, reaching out, touching a hand, looking in an eye, and saying, tell us about yourself. So it was a very personal touch.
This unique sort of personal approach where you go out and try to establish a relationship with somebody, even if they are years away from being in a position to assume a faculty position. If you maintain that relationship over that period of time, you increase the likelihood that they're going to ultimately decide that this might be a good place to start their careers.
It seemed to me to be brilliant, really, that we wouldn't have every single college and every academic unit in a college on their own going out and trying to recruit diverse candidates. So this provided a wonderful coordinated way to get a look at potential PhD diverse candidates who are interested in teaching, for them to get a look at RIT, and that's what you want. You want to develop relationships.
The Future Faculty Program at RIT has not only been a very visible sign of RIT's internal commitment to diversifying its faculty base, but it's also been a wonderful, wonderful program in terms of the recognition it's gotten externally and the kind of credit RIT has gotten for being a leader in this very important space.
More and more institutions had started they began to adapt our actual future faculty model, which brought the candidates on campus. And little did I know that no one was doing the type of work to match candidates with potential job openings. And I thought, what a great innovation to add to such an initiative.
I think that her ability to get to know these fine scholars at an early stage in their professional development and in their academic careers paid great dividends in building that affinity to RIT and some of the introductions she then made to those disciplines most likely to hire them.
I was at Hewlett-Packard, so printing and imaging. I think Rochester and RIT are known for their printing and imaging, so the program turned out to be just what I needed at the time I needed it. I had begun exploring a change from industry to academia, but I viewed it as simply a networking opportunity. Coming to the program gave me a lot of information about RIT, and quite frankly, after being here, it became a no-brainer to make the switch.
We are RIT, totally immersed in RIT. I am totally immersed in RIT now, and that's a term that I coined during the event. This program, the Future Faculty Career Exploration Program, fulfill what I was expecting and much, much more. It gave me experience on what the faculty member does and lives on the campus. I was exposed not only to the faculty aspect, but I was dealing with the staff, with the president, what will be the life if you decide to come here.
Having the opportunity for them to interface with other Alana individuals in the community and in a setting where you can really talk and get to know them is really a key element and one of the success factors, I think, of the program. Because we know when people get ready to uproot themselves and uproot their families and come to a community, they look at the job, but they also want to know, how is this community going to be for me and for my family?
The quality of life in Rochester is a secret, and it shouldn't be, because we have a culture that is comparable to any large city you find in the country. The people here are friendly and welcoming, and it's a great place to bring up a family. It really is a hidden gem.
I think that faculty diversity is important to RIT and to virtually every other institution because we're becoming an increasingly diverse country. And the extent to which our faculty can reflect the diversity of our student body is the extent to which our students can see real role models in the faculty and can hopefully aspire to succeed as those faculty have succeeded themselves.
Having a diverse faculty, it's more than just having somebody there who you can talk to. To see someone who looks like you and thinks like you, who has achieved at a high level, so that you know that the path you're on can lead to greatness.
You have those faculty on campus, they're role models for the minority students on campus. I could be like that. Look, he did it, she did it, I could do it. But not only that, the white students, holy smokes, that's the best professor I ever had. I learned more from that professor. Happens to be black. That's my best professor. Everybody benefits.
It isn't necessarily the color of their skin, it's the diversity of the thought that they have, and that enriches that community. And so you need to have a very diverse, vibrant faculty workforce that, has that affinity and has that ability to attract students of the future, because those are the populations that ultimately RIT will have to rely on to be successful.
I guess it stems from a strategic priority, which is to be the best that you can be. You want to be the best that you can be. Strength requires a group of individuals that are not only talented, but are open to new ideas, that they're thinking outside the box, they're thinking about how they can do things better for society, and society is populated by a diverse group of individuals. I can't imagine how you could achieve that goal if the faculty isn't diverse.
Our students will be successful if they know how to navigate in this world. And clearly everything is moving in the direction of globalization.
Part of that global society is being inclusive in our own small s society here at RIT and helping students see a microcosm of the world that they're going out into.
Anyone that's going to be a successful graduate of any college is going to have to work for, hire, buy from, sell to, compete with, partner with people, institutions, and organizations from cultures, from races, from ethnicities, from religions, from geographies, all over the world, or you can't make it.
When they're put in a position where they can spend time working with people who have come to us through FFCEP, and you see the experiences that they have, both in the classroom and the laboratory, you know that they're going out of RIT as better people than when they came in.
Hopefully we have the same kind of success moving forward that we did looking back these 10 years. This program has been, I think, a material contributor to the diversification of our faculty, and I'm so proud of Renee and her staff for all the hard work they've done and for what they've accomplished. So congratulations on a decade of real progress in a very difficult area to make progress in.